Will you please be all upstanding for His Worship the Mayor?
Gentlemen, you may remove your jackets. Before we start, I will hand you over to Caris Kennedy, the solicitor.
Thank you. I just want to make the usual announcement that we need to make about the webcasting. So just to confirm that this is going to be broadcast. It's been recorded and will be broadcast on the authority's internet site in due course. The images can also be used for training purposes within the authority. I need to make sure everybody in the public seating area is aware that they will also be part of the recording. And by being present, you are consenting to the use of your image in the filming. Also remind that the Chair has the discretion to terminate or suspend filming if continuing to do so would prejudice the proceedings, or that continued filming might infringe the rights of any individual. Can I ask everybody to ensure they use their microphones when speaking? Can you please indicate if you're going to speak, and then we can turn your microphone on so that you'll properly be called and properly be heard. And also, can you use your microphone if you are moving or seconding a motion? Can everybody please turn their mobile phones off, because even when they're on vibrate or silent, they can still interfere with the sound system. And can I also just remind everybody there is, or there in fact are, 2 items which will be dealt with potentially as exempt reports. So when that happens, everybody will need to leave the public area, but also the recording of the meeting will stop at that point. Thank you.
Right. Welcome to the full council meeting of Thursday the 19th of February 2015. Item number 1 is apologies for absence.
Yes, Chair. We've had apologies from Councillor Rhonda Braithwaite, Councillor Ernie Goldsworthy, Councillor Simon Williams.
Councillor Rhonda Braithwaite, Chair. You just said that.
Sorry, councillors, it's the full council meeting of Wednesday the 25th of February. Right. Item number 2 is declarations of interest, and hang on. Can I just advise members of in item number 2 of A and B? Right. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's in relation to the item which is not numbered. It's the additional exempt paper that's come forward this evening. My interest is a personal interest based on my knowledge and very close friendship actually to the contractor who's about to receive the contract for the business.
Councillor Toomey.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Similarly, Mr. Mayor, my interest is in the extra exempt item on the football club by reason of the fact that my son works for the club.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's the same item. I declare an interest. I'm an employee of the club.
Councillor Lewis.
Item 21, Mr. Mayor, I'm a board member of Valleys Homes.
Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 items, Mr. Mayor. Item 21, Getty Lake Housing Quarter Project. I'm a local authority member on the board of Merthyr Valleys Homes. Do have dispensation to speak if necessary, but not to vote. And also the exempt item, I'm a supporter with the football club, and I will be leaving for that item.
Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 21, I'm a board member of the Valley Homes. Obviously, we got dispensation to speak but not vote.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 21, I'm a board member of Merthyr Valley Homes, and also item number 23, and a board member of the Leisure Trust.
Jones.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I declare an interest on the new exempt item, the football ground. I'm a member of the Merthyr Football Society.
Right. Any other declarations?
Yeah, Mr Mayor. I'd like to declare an interest on the exempt item, but I believe I've got dispensation to speak and not vote, and not speak on financial matters.
Right. Right, we go to item number 3 then, which is scrutiny and customer service meeting of Monday the 12th of January.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Happy to move the minutes of the meeting.
Second, Mr.
That's carried. Item number 4, scrutiny, chief executive, including crime and disorder meeting of Tuesday, the 13th of January.
Move, Mr Mayor.
Got a seconder?
Second, Mr Mayor.
Any comments? Can we please take the vote on this, councillors? That's carried. We go to item number 6, which is scrutiny, social services and the social regeneration meet. 5. I've jumped 2 pages. I do apologise. The joint negotiating and consultative group meeting of Wednesday the 14th of January.
I move, Mr Mayor.
I'll be a seconder. Right. Any questions? Certainly.
Just wondering, Mr Mayor, make up the committee, and there's some non-members, and I'm just wondering about the voting rights of the committee. Does every member who attends vote?
I'm happy to answer, Mr Mayor, but I didn't think that we were entitled to take questions or comments on minutes. So where do I go with this?
You can only answer on the minutes, and I would say that that's actually about the construction of the committee rather than on the minutes of the meeting. So actually no, you can't ask that question, but Councillor Barry, if you want to have that question answered, we can talk about it after.
Right, we got a proposer and a seconder. Any questions and any comments? Right, can we ask you to vote now, please, councillors? Two more to come. That's carried. Item number 6, scrutiny, social services and the social regeneration meeting of Wednesday the 14th of January.
Can I move, Mr Mayor?
Have we got a seconder? Seconded by Mr. Any questions? Any comments?
Oh, it's working. Sorry, Mr Mayor. Yeah, just for clarification, I did send my apologies for this meeting. It's not recorded, Mr Mayor, so I'll resend that email so that it can get amended.
That will be amended for you. Right, I'll ask you all to vote now then, please. That's carried.
Yes, move, Mr Mayor.
Second, Mr Mayor.
Any questions? Any comments? I'll ask you all to vote now, please, councillors.
Councillor Clark.
Item number 8, the Audit Committee meeting of Monday the 19th of January.
It helps if you press the right button, sorry. Can I move, Mr. Mayor?
Seconded.
Any questions? Any comments? I'll ask you all to vote now, please, councillors. That's carried. Agenda item number 9, scrutiny schools meeting of Monday the 19th of January. Propose.
I propose it, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Any questions? Any comments? Can I ask you all to vote, please? That's carried. Agenda item number 10, the scrutiny schools meeting of Monday the 26th of January.
Move, Mr. Mayor.
Wait a second. I'll ask you, any questions? Any comments? I'll ask you all to vote now, please, councillors. That's carried. Agenda item number 11, the Cabinet meeting of Wednesday, the 28th of January.
Yes, move, Mr. Mayor.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions? Any comments? I ask you all to vote, please. That's carried. Item number 12, the full council meeting of Wednesday, the 28th of January.
Yes, move, Mr. Mayor.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Can I ask you all, any questions? Any comments? Can I ask you, councillors, please to vote? That's
Second, Mr. Mayor.
right. Any questions? Any comments? Can I ask you councillors to vote, please? Planning and Regulatory and Licensing Committee of Wednesday the 4th of February.
Move, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions? Any comments? Can I ask you to vote, please, councillors? Right. Agenda item number 15. The budget and council tax for 2015-16 and state of the council debate. Purpose of the report is to recommend approval of the council tax level for 2015-16 and revenue budget for 2015-16 and the annual minimum revenue provisional statement. And I believe Brendan is...
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, it's that time of year where the leader has to give a fairly protracted speech. Members have had a copy of the speech. I will give a slightly condensed version, and I'll try to get through it a little bit quicker than we did the minutes. So if you just bear with me. Mr. Mayor, the budget for 2015-16 has once again been set in an extremely challenging financial climate. And this is as a result of the further punitive measures imposed by the central UK government. Local government in Wales is yet again faced with unprecedented funding reductions, with Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council's 2015-16 budget reduced by 2.52% or £2.3 million in cash terms. It is against this backdrop of continuing financial austerity that the budget for 2015-16 is derived, in acknowledging the requirement to significantly reduce expenditure whilst maintaining the provision of high-quality services to the citizens of Merthyr Tydfil. Mr Mayor, in September 2014, the Wales Audit Office undertook a full corporate assessment of the authority, and although we have not yet received a formal feedback from our auditors, the informal feedback was very positive in terms of how the assessment had gone, the arrangements made, the openness and engagement of all those involved, and the progress made by the Council in terms of cultural change, vision, values and leadership. Good progress has been made in addressing previous WAO recommendations, and no new recommendations have been made to date. Mr Mayor, moving on to service areas and trading standards to start off with, continues to protect businesses from unfair competition by tackling the shadow economy, and is also proactively supporting vulnerable residents deliberately targeted by scam, mail and doorstep criminals. The Housing Renewal Team continues to attract significant inward investment for the benefit of Merthyr Tydfil citizens. In 2014-15 alone, the team attracted over £4.2 million of inward investment from a variety of sources to fund strategic domestic energy schemes, where over 340 homes have or will benefit from free external wall insulation and other measures such as central heating boilers and loft insulation. From February 2015, for the first time ever, the Council is able to offer home improvement loans to our citizens, providing 0% interest loans to help homeowners with essential home repairs, whilst also continuing to offer 0% interest loans to the owners of empty homes through our Houses to Homes scheme. The Council's Town Planning Division continues to lead the way as the top performing planning authority in Wales. Successful planning applications have led to the opening of the new B&Q store at Cyfarthfa Retail Park. Construction of the new M&S store is already underway and due for completion this autumn. The former Peacocks unit at Pengan was granted planning permission to accommodate Tenaco, an exhaust manufacturer which brought 200 jobs to the county borough, with the result that several hundred other jobs have been protected within our region. The River Taff Central Link opened last year. The scheme has improved the approach into the town centre with a new bridge that is a focal point and improvements to the pedestrian links between the new college and the town centre, which complement the recently completed College Plaza. A state-of-the-art medical training centre was opened at Keir Hardie Health Park, which will support Cardiff University's School of Medicine. The new police custody suite has now opened at Reader Car, and I was very pleased to be able to play a small part in securing this investment within the county borough. The Waste Services Division secured £2 million of capital funding to enhance its collection services as a result of participating in the Welsh Government's Collaborative Change Programme, and we continue to focus on achieving our recycling targets set by Welsh Government. One of our priorities is the Riverside project, which comprises further new infrastructure, new housing and flood prevention work. The Council has secured £5.7 million of grant funding, with the Council's own capital investment of £6.5 million since the project started. This project is likely to attract £25 million of private sector finance, contributing to the regeneration of the communities of Aberfan and Merthyr Vale. The authority's 21st Century Schools programme is also making good progress. The £12 million refurbishment and reconfiguration project at Avontaff High School commenced in October 2014 and is due for completion in the summer of 2017. Additionally, work is underway on the design and development of a new primary school to replace Ysgol y Graig in Cefn Coed. The new school will be built on the site of the former Feynman Penderyn High School, and it is anticipated that works will start on site in 2017 and the school will be ready for occupation in 2019. Construction works are progressing well on the refurbishment and reconfiguration of the Gurness Community Centre to create a purpose-made Flying Start provision for children up to 4 years and their families. This is due to be completed in the summer of 2015. The challenges of changing practice, policy and service delivery required by the Social Services and Wellbeing Act of 2014 are being embraced locally and regionally in preparation for the implementation of the Act in 2016. The Social Services staff, practitioners and managers continue to deliver quality intervention and services at a time of continued change and expectations. The reconfiguration of adult services aims to reduce dependency on services, particularly residential care, and places more emphasis on early intervention and support. During 2014-15, and in partnership with Rhondda and Taff County Borough Council, we have reshaped the first response assessment and care management service to enable better focus on short-term interventions to maintain independence. Children's services continue to focus on supporting children and young people in order to maintain their independence by supporting them to live safely within their families. From an economic development perspective, a range of programmes are successfully being delivered across the county borough. In April 2014, Welsh Government approved an allocation of £12.873 million for the implementation and delivery of the Vibrant and Viable Places programme. The programme, through its delivery, aims to revitalise and promote the sustainability of the town centre, build a vibrant and sustainable community which is more prosperous, tackling poverty by creating jobs and helping people into work, and encouraging wider investment in housing and deliver strategic projects of a significant scale within the area. There are a number of housing schemes being implemented, including the Pontmorlas Promenade and Labour Exchange project, and also the General Hospital and North Merthyr housing sites project. Merthyr Town Football Club has secured funding from the programme to support the creation of the new community facility adjacent to the current clubhouse, which will provide a flexible educational, training and recreational facility. In July 2014, following a comprehensive consultation process, Council approved the relocation of the bus station to Swan Street. The demolition of the former police station on Swan Street has already started, with work due to be completed in the very near future. Stage 1 stabilisation of the YMCA has been successfully completed, and Carmarthenshire Heritage Regeneration Trust has secured £2.6 million through the HLF for the development of the building, along with £1.154 million secured through Vibrant and Viable Places. Treharris Square was presented with a commendation at the Wales Planning Awards 2014 by the Royal Town Planning Institute. Funding for a town centre partnership was secured through Welsh Government for Treharris in September 2014, and this will form the exit strategy for the Taff Bargoed regeneration programme. The long-awaited car parking strategy has also been completed, and the results of this are already in motion, with the £1 Saturday parking supported by Merthyr Town Centre Business Improvement District, and the soon-to-be reintroduced 1 hour parking tariff. Education remains the #1 priority for this administration, and we continue to work with Welsh Government's Recovery Board, governors, heads and other stakeholders to ensure that we achieve the very best outcomes for all our learners. 2013-14 was a landmark year for the children and young people of the county borough, with whom we celebrated record-breaking success across every key performance indicator, particularly at Key Stage 4, where significant improvements have been achieved across the board. Trends in performance are positive across all key indicators for pupils at the age of 7, 11 and 14, and the rate of improvement is faster than the rate of progress across Wales. Accelerated improvement means that our ambition to be in the top 10 authorities in Wales is no longer out of reach. The performance of girls and boys has improved at all key stages. We are closing the gap with national averages, and the gender gap has reduced due to boys improving at a faster rate than girls. The performance of pupils eligible for free school meals has improved across all indicators and phases, and the rate of improvement is faster than the rate nationally at key stages 2, 3 and 4. Mr Mayor, there is still much work to do to ensure continuous improvement within our schools. For the future, our expectations are even higher. We anticipate that the accelerated improvement secured over the past 2 years will continue, and we will see even better results in 2015. Mr Mayor, in conclusion, I would like to thank all members, officers and staff of the authority for their continued support, particularly in such difficult times of ever-decreasing finance, and for delivering high-quality and high-performing services for the citizens of Merthyr Tydfil County Borough. Mr Mayor, I now have pleasure in moving recommendations 13.1 to 13.5 on page 59 of the report.
Have we seconder?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I have pleasure in seconding the recommendations on page 59, but I'd like to hold back any comments to the end of the debate, please.
Certainly. Right. Any questions? Any comments? Councillor Thomas?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I begin by complimenting the leader on his lively and very interesting delivery on what could have been a very dry report. But may I further congratulate our hard-working officers who have, I believe, through their diligence, attracted further grant funding to the County Borough, and to add to that, our education colleagues who have supported the positive improvement trends outlined by the leader. Turning to the budget report, my comments may not be so palatable, and I understand why Councillor Philip Williams may wish to make comments after I finished. But in 2012, this present administration began its term of office with what I believe was a cheap political gesture, seeking solely to buy public approbation when they withdrew an efficiency measure that would have resulted in savings of approximately £1 million at this time, and did so under the guise that they alone were the guardians of our most cherished asset, our workforce. But they didn't do it in reality for those perfectly good reasons. They, in my view, simply saw it as a way of scoring early political points at the start of their term of office. History has shown how foolish that was, because now they're in a position of doing the very same things, but only worse. They now realize that the previous administration knew and understood they were working towards a dramatic realization that times would get even tougher. We most certainly were not in denial of those facts. We've already heard from the leader who's placed the blame at the door of Westminster. But let's not forget or ignore the fact that Cardiff has shown a particular disregard for local authorities and the people we serve by reinforcing those cuts while spending recklessly, in my view, to support an underachieving public sector. I refer to the £50 million spent on Cardiff Airport. Consequently, it's far from a position of a lack of understanding of our current financial position that I will be voting against this report, but it's because of a lack of trust in the ability of this administration and the Labour Party in general in both Merthyr Tydfil and Cardiff to deliver the efficiencies, well, let's not call them that, let's call them cuts, in the most appropriate manner. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, go on, Brendan.
I need to come back on the points that the Leader of the Opposition has made. So, Mr Mayor, I'm raising that point now because the Leader of the Opposition has responded to some of the things that I said, and I need to get back at that point or to address those points. So, okay.
Councillor Matthews?
Yes, Mr Mayor, we've heard mention yet again of the £1 million that we could have been saving had we implemented the previous administration's measures. So where is that £1 million now? It's in the pockets of our staff, because we didn't feel forced into implementing it at that time. So they have benefited by having that £1 million in their wage packets up until now. But due to the reducing settlements we've had, due to the Westminster's austerity measures, we've got major cuts, and I've been put in the lovely position of having to oversee the projects that are delivering those cuts. And believe you me, they're not without tears. We are cutting services that are affecting people out there. We're doing our best to minimise the impact, but welcome to the real world. We have to do this. We've got no choice. And if we want to continue delivering any services at all, then we really have to look at the best way of balancing our budget.
Any other comments? Right, then if you want to respond first. All right, Phil.
Obviously, in seconding the motion, Mr. Mayor, I think we've said on many occasions that what we've been faced with in terms of cuts this year give us all a heavy heart, a very, very heavy heart, and a great deal of work that we've all had to put into trying to deliver a balanced budget, which to date we have done. And may I say, yet without having to make staff compulsorily redundant. I think that perhaps 2 members of staff have gone down that road. But until now, we managed to make those efficiencies and also continue to service our population and provide a good service, I believe, to our population. The Leader of the Opposition, when he mentions cheap political measures, then starts talking about as a cheap political measure. He himself is talking politics and the nonsense, which is sad, because at the end of the day, when we came into office in 2012, we were faced with a budget that the opposition had set before we arrived, to remind you that. And in fact, the cuts in the proposed reduction the proposed unpaid annual leave was, from my point of view and from the Labour Party's point of view, something that at that time was actually unthinkable, because at that time we were able to manage within the resources. Now I know he's going to come back and say, well, at the end of the day, well, he can't come back, but at the end of the day, we actually did that year end with a deficit. But again, I'll remind you, it was a deficit budget that was probably set by the administration previously, and despite our best efforts, we were unable to bring it back into balance, which in fact we have done every year since. I would see what they did in the last year of the administration as their first resort to try and to sort out the problems. In our case, the request we made to trade unions to take unpaid leave has so far met with stonewalling. And as far as we're concerned, we as people who work in this area, live in this area, are listening to our staff, and a lot of our staff are saying that actually we're quite happy to do that rather than see our members go down the road and be made compulsorily redundant. So we look forward to the debate with the trade unions at the appropriate time when we come to a consultation on that measure. It is very much on the cards, but I would repeat, this isn't our first resort. This is our last resort in trying to balance the books. In 15-16, we had a £5 million deficit to meet. We've still got in 16-17 £4.9 million, and in 17-18 £5.1 million. So having already delivered £5 million, we've still got £10 million to deliver. The gentleman, our Leader of the Opposition, when they were in power, didn't have such figures to even think about. So really, it's like a little boy trying to play with toys compared with what we have in the face at the moment. I second the motion.
Mr. Toomey.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if there are no further comments or whatever from the opposition, can I just say that I do find it slightly incredible that an independent leader, it's very easy for an independent leader, an independent group, isn't it? They wear no badge, they have no affiliation to any political party or any person either, as it happens. They can knock on 500 doors and give 500 different answers to people that want to hear the right question. And that's how they've got elected over the years, and that's how they'll continue to get elected. I don't have a huge amount of respect for independence, Mr Mayor. I have more respect for other political parties, at least put the badge on and stand and be counted. So let's make it absolutely clear about that. When we came in 3 years ago, the previous administration had imposed a 2-day pay cut on staff. They did it 3 years ago when there was no need to do it. And the Leader of the Opposition has got his figures slightly wrong. It was £250,000 is what it meant. It wasn't £1 million, although aggregated over 4 years it would have been. But that is even going to be a drop in the ocean compared to the 15 or so million pounds that this authority, along with all other authorities in Wales, needs to save over future years. We did say in 2012, and I said it in front of staff, and I stand by my record, the Chief Executive was there down at Reader Car when we held the roadshows, we may have to come back to staff asking for a contribution, but it will be a last resort. As Councillor Matthews and Councillor Williams have already pointed out, Mr Mayor, we are now at that stage. And what I will point out to the opposition is that this group has shown leadership from the beginning. And whilst all members of this council, in fairness to the opposition, have agreed to take a pay cut, this particular Labour group is taking that cut from April. And that has already been set in motion. And that's to show leadership to our staff. That has been done today, and every member of the Labour group is signed up to it. So if we want to take cheap shots, it's a bit late for that, I think, Councillor Thomas, but bottom line is we've showed solidarity with the staff throughout. We will continue to do so, and if there is any way of re-implementing the 5 days or whatever it turns out to be following engagement with the staff, if there's any way of re-implementing it, we will do it at the very, very earliest opportunity, and I will stand by that.
Right. It's been proposed, it's been seconded. The recommendations is on page 59.
Sorry, Councillor Brown.
Point of order. Not just the Labour group.
That's not a point of order, but the comment has been made. Thank you.
All right, we'll accept your comments, Councillor Brown. No, I've called the vote now.
My device hadn't cleared, Mr Mayor. My thing is still lit in the wrong way. I want to vote.
If you re-vote,
It'll change, will it?
yes, it will
Thank you.
change. Yeah, that's clear.
He abstained. Right, that's carried. Council Tax Resolution of 2015-16. Purpose of the report is to advise Council of the calculation of budget requirement and Council tax for 2015-16 under Local Government Finance Act as amended, and to seek the approval of formal Council Tax Resolution 2015-16. Councillor Toomey?
It's Councillor Williams, actually.
Sorry, Councillor Williams.
And I thank you, Mr Mayor, for doing part of my job. Mr Mayor, can I thank you for doing part of my job by saying what the purpose of the report is? I thought it was my job to say that, but
Always
thank you,
willing
Mr
to
Mayor. However, can I introduce us to the introduction on paragraph 1, which actually just clearly sets out that it is a statutory duty that this report before you today, and you can see in paragraph 2.1 on page 85 that a council tax increase of 4.5%, resulting in a county borough council band D council tax of 1352.72 for 2015-16 is being proposed, or has been proposed, sorry. And Under paragraph 2.2, you can see the South Wales Police Authority, despite their reserves as published, are still weighing in an increase of 5% upon us. And we've also got to obviously consider the precept for Bedlington Community Council. Paragraph 3 sets out the financial implications, Mr Mayor, and you can see for the various bands what the various tax levels are. So the recommendation on page 87, and it is a formal recommendation in accordance with statute. So under 6.1 that the formal statutory council tax resolutions of 2015-16 outlined in Appendix 1 and summarised in paragraph 3.1 be noted and approved, and that we note the South Wales Police Authority precept, we note the Bedlington Community Council precept, and the Welsh Government 2015-16 non-domestic rate for Wales of 48.2 pence in the pound be noted. I move.
Recommendation. Second.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'm happy to second the recommendations on page 87.
Any questions, councillors? Comments? Councillor Mitt.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Well, as Deputy Leader of the Opposition, I just wanted to convey our dismay at this increase to 4.5%, not an increase of 4.5%, which I hope is something that's incorrect in the report. The greatest increase this borough has actually seen over recent years, and inevitably it's going to have a crippling effect on many of our residents. And whilst I am on speaker and whilst I am commenting, let me just make this quite clear. My ward constituents know what I'm all about. The people of Merthyr Tydfil know what I'm all about. I wear my badge and I wear it loud and proud.
Any other comments?
May I respond to that, Mr Mayor, or Leader?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I understand what Councillor Mitten is saying in terms of the increase, but I have no doubt whatsoever that all members of this authority, and I've already said it, are in a position now where we have never ever seen before. We have held council tax down as low as we possibly could, so we want an increase in services, a reduction in money. I'm not quite sure how we bridge that particular gap. Now, you guys know it as well as we know it. So, again, we're going down the route of cheap shots. But just for the record, Mr Mayor, a Band C property in Merthyr Tydfil, increase is £1 per week. Band B is 87, Band A is 75, and a Band D, which is the band that is used for council tax purposes, is £1.12. I am going to have to pay the King's ransom of £1.37 because I live in a Band E property, Mr Mayor, and I don't think that is a massive increase in council tax compared to the services that this authority are continuing to deliver. And I would like to say that we have the full support of the trade unions on this particular matter.
Comments before Councillor Williams.
Other comments before Councillor Williams.
Yeah, you'd close the debate if you speak,
Civic.
so we're just checking.
Any other comments?
No.
Councillor Brown? Any comments?
Turn yours off. Turn yours off, Mayor.
Councillor Williams?
So I can wrap it up. Sorry, I'm, as you can see, the Leader and I are getting a little bit cheesed off with the approach of some members of the opposition who want everything. They want the pennies and the bun. I just wanted to say in closing that the members of our public who are in Band A represent about 52% of the population, and Band A and B 76% of the population. And if the Deputy Leader of the opposition had read the report, you would see from the report actually that 85% of our population are Band C or below.
The recommendations is on page 87. Recommendation 6 to 6.4. Can I ask you all to vote now, please? Agenda item number 17, the Workforce Equalities Policy, and I believe Councillor Williams is taking this again.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And as you can see, the purpose of the report is to seek approval for the adoption of the Workforce Equalities Policy. It is an update on the previous Equality Policy. Recommendation on page 94 is that the Workforce Equalities Policy be adopted and approved. Subject to questions and comments, I so move.
Is there a second?
Second, Mr Mayor.
Right. Any questions? Any comments? No. None? Carried. Agenda item number 18, the Council Tax Discretionary Relief Policy. Councillor Williams?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As you can see, the purpose of the report is to set out the Council's proposed framework for delivering its powers to grant discretionary relief, to reduce council tax under provisions set out in Section 13A of the Local Government Finance Act 1992. Very briefly, the background to this is that Welsh Government actually, when the central government, in a wonderful way yet again, hits the hardest working people in the population, i.e. Slot, they then reduced the council tax reduction scheme and it affected everyone, but the Welsh Government, in all fairness, that's put in £222 million to soften the blow for Welsh residents. Yet another achievement by Welsh Labour. And unfortunately, the condems up in England didn't follow suit, and therefore one of the councils was taken to court, and as a consequence of the court action, the people who sort of run the profession said, you better look after yourselves and introduce a policy, which the policy is the Council Tax Discretionary Relief Policy, which is before you tonight. So we are actually just covering ourselves. Recommendation is page 103, recommendation 61, 62, 63, I move.
Yes, second, Mr Mayor.
Any questions? Any comments? We take the vote on the recommendations on number page 103. Can you please vote, councillors? That's carried. Agenda item number 19, the Biffa Profit Sharing Scheme. Those who said declared an interest? None?
Yes, Mr Mayor, this report has been brought forward because of the illness of Councillor Graham Davis. So, without further ado, can I approve that the request for the sum of £2,500 is granted for the resurfacing of Bryony Close in Toynrodden?
Is there a second? Questions?
What's so special? I don't know the area really. There's a lot of areas need resurfacing. Why this area? Oh.
Can I suggest if Councillor Tydfil would like that answer, he takes it offline and has a discussion with the ward members. They can spend their Biffa money as they see fit.
Right. The recommendation is on page 114. Can I ask you to vote, please? Carried. Agenda item number 20, the Merthyr Tydfil Local Housing Market Assessment of 2015, and I believe Councillor Barry is taking this.
Wrong button again. Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, the purpose of the report is to seek Council's approval to publish the Merthyr Tydfil Local Housing Market Assessment, or LHMA, for 2015, to form part of the Local Development Plan and Local Housing Strategy evidence base, and to assist in negotiating affordable housing on new housing developments. All Welsh local authorities are required to formulate LHMAs to provide a robust evidence base for both local housing strategies and development plans. We are required to produce an updated LHMA by April of this year and to update the assessment every 2 years. Previously, LHMAs produced on behalf of Merthyr Tydfil have been carried out by external consultants, but in accordance with the requirements of the Housing Act of 2014, Housing Act Wales, sorry, the latest version has been produced in-house. A range of information sources was used to feed into the assessment, and these are outlined in the report. And Mr Mayor, unsurprisingly, it was found that there is an acute need for 1- and 2-bedroom houses, a situation that without a shadow of doubt has been exacerbated by the uncaring, condemned government and its invidious bedroom tax. We know our families, who are amongst the most vulnerable in our community, have their benefits slashed, and we're unable to help them to move as we have no smaller properties available. The assessment tells us that there is a need for 366 additional affordable housing units every year within the county borough. But, Mr Mayor, this is not a target, but an indication of the scale of the affordable housing need and a benchmark which this council will work towards as far as practically deliverable through a range of methods. Mr Mayor, subject to any questions, I move recommendation 6.1 on page 117.
Right, councillors. And is there a seconder? Yeah, Councillor Jones. Any questions? Any comments? Councillor Mitt.
My colleagues may be, not expecting this, but I just wanted to commend Councillor Barry on his comments there. Couldn't have put it better myself. Well done, Chris.
Councillor Toomey.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I'd just like to refer council to the comments I made some moments ago about the independence.
Right, if we've stopped fighting with each other, can I ask you all to vote on the recommendations on page 117, please? That's one more to come. Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Councillor Tom Lewis.
Agenda item number 21, the Gethleydig Housing Cooperative Project. Have we a proposer? That's Councillor Chris Sorry. Councillor Barry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, this is normally a report that I would introduce, but as I've declared interest, I'm going to ask the officer responsible to present a report. However, Mr Mayor, as it's Bev's last day with the local authority after over 20 years service, I just can't let it go by without saying one or two words. Mr Mayor, I understand it's not unknown for people on their last day with an organisation to clock watch and maybe even finish a bit early, but looking at the time, this is obviously not the case here today. And I think it's an indication of a commitment to this organisation throughout the years. And I know this item that she's going to present today is one that she really wants to see through, as the discussions on this have been ongoing for many, many months, and Bev has played a vital role in this. I'll finish off by saying, Mr Mayor, that I owe Bev a big thank you for leading me through the complexities of housing regulations over the last few years, and that can't have been an easy task. I know from experience and from what others said that she has been a first-class officer. We've had some interesting times over the last few years, and some situations that normal people don't see. What? And that's an in-joke which Bev will understand. Yeah, and he knows about these normal people as well. Mr Mayor, I'll finish off by saying I want to say to Bev, I hope she enjoys her new challenge. I want to wish her luck because she doesn't need it, just a self-belief that she can do the job, and to say to her that our loss is certainly Newport's gain. I now ask her to present a report. No pressure after that, Bev.
Mr Mayor, before Bev comes in to present the report, can I just endorse Councillor Barry's comments there? Beverly is, or Bev, as everybody knows, has been a massive asset to this authority over many, many years. And apart from a slight aberration when she went to the dark side, i.e. Blaenau Gwent, for a very short time, she soon came back to us. I know, like Chris does, Bev will have make a big impact in regeneration down in Newport, where they've got a massive programme ongoing. And if they're half as successful down there as we've been here, good luck to them. All I can say is, Bev, I'm not sure that Councillor Bob Wright, my colleague leader from Newport, is quite as user-friendly as me, but I'm sure you're going to find out about that soon.
Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It would be wrong to let the opportunity of saying goodbye and thank you to Bev, because from the opposition point of view, she has been a superb officer. I must say I'd been in council for about 2 years before I realised that she was actually Alan's wife. I thought it was his daughter. So I get nothing out of regeneration for the next two years or whatever. But Bev, congratulations on your new appointment. I thought it had already started and I thought you were here on loan tonight, but it's lovely to see you and we really do wish you well for the future.
Right, can you, at last, can you give us the report, please, Bev?
Thank you, councillors, for your very kind comments. So follow that. I won't try and deliver the report without bursting into tears. The purpose of the report is to request Council's approval to utilise the Council's Prudential Borrowing Facility to support the establishment of the Gethley Dig Cooperative Project in partnership with Merthyr Valleys Homes. By way of background, Merthyr Valleys Homes approached the local authority several months ago with a request to work in partnership to address a redundant block of flats on the Gethley Dig estate as part of a wider regeneration programme for the area. Following an options appraisal, it was agreed that a cooperative model would be explored for the flats, with the main aims of regenerating the area and also varying the housing tenure mix on the estate, but also to maximise the social enterprise culture that already exists within the community there. Paragraphs 2 and 3 within the report outline the detail of cooperative models and the various models that can be used and the benefits that they can bring in terms of social and economic and physical regeneration. And is following consideration these various models, it's proposed that a leasehold cooperative model is progressed up at Gethley Dig. Details of the leasehold setup are set out to paragraph 4. The diagram, which has had some information chopped off it, unfortunately within the report, has been recirculated. But also operating detail of the model is then attached and is set out quite in lengthy detail at Appendix 1. The financial implications for the local authority are that the council will lend via its prudential borrowing £510,000 to the public, to the special purpose vehicle over a 25-year period, with the repayment schedules also set out at paragraph 7. The recommendations of the report are that council approves the development of the Gethley Dig cooperative project in partnership with Merthyr Valleys Homes, and that council approves the use of the Public Works Loans Board to finance the project as set out at paragraph 7.1.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Because Chris can't vote on this, I'll be moving the recommendations at 10.1, 10.2 on page 128, and just like to add my best wishes for Bev in her future in Newport.
And Mr Mayor, I'm pleased to second the motion and obviously again wish you all the very best.
I throw it open. Any question? No. Any comments? Can I ask you to vote, please? That's carried. Can we bring the members in, please? Right. All present and correct again. Agenda item number 22, changes to housing choice, housing allocations policy. I mean, Councillor Barry is taking this.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, the purpose of the report is to seek Council's approval for the updated housing choice allocations policy. The current housing allocations policy was approved by Council in 2012 and has generally worked well, but we now wish to put in place a number of small changes. All of our housing association partners have been engaged in the process of drawing up these changes. Proposed amendments, Mr Mayor, is the introduction of 3 new bans as outlined on page 136 of the report. And again, one of these changes is directly due to the bedroom tax. There are also minor changes to annual application reviews, online advertising, and the advertising and allocation of adapted properties. I believe a copy of the policy has now been sent to all members. There are no direct financial implications for local authority associated with this report, and I move recommendation 6.1 on page 138.
Any questions? Any comments?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I can't let this report go past without making a comment and just really to say how pleased I am and welcome this report, especially the comments under 2.2.4 in relation to us being more transparent when we're allocating adapted properties, and then more specifically about the banding descriptions now and those being A1 and A2. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Any other comments? Right. Ask councillors to vote, please. That's carried. Right.
Mr Mayor, can I move section 100?
Is there a second up? Can I ask the gallery to clear, please? Sorry, can take a vote on the section 100, please?
Can you vote on your buttons? We've got a chart on it. That's all right, we've got a majority.
We got a majority. The meeting is reopened to open session. Item number 24 to deal with urgent business or any correspondence. We have none. To receive communications from His Worship the Mayor, I have none. Wish you all a good evening and a safe journey home.